Hi friends, so let's start with our lab. So this is our lab. We have to create a custom tool in our agent. So use a custom function in AI agent. So first of all, we have to create a AI Azure AI Foundry project. So for that, what we will do, we will go to uh, Management Center, All Resources, create new resource. We will select Azure AI Foundry resource. We will select next. Let's name this project. So let's name this project as AI custom tool. So custom tool, agent custom tool, right? So this will be the name of the our project, agent custom tool. And this will be our resource, this will be our subscription, and our let's also create a new resource group. So our resource group will be agent uh, agent resource group, right? So let's click OK, and the region is east us 2. That is fine with us. Now let's click on create. It's setting up the Azure AI Foundry resource in a new resource group. Let's wait for a moment. So as you can see, now our project has been created, and our AI Foundry resource also has been created, right? So now what we have to do, so as you can see right now, we do not have any models and endpoints in our project. So we have to create a new model. So let's deploy a model. So deploy base model. Let's click on GPT-4 mini. So we will deploy that. Okay, it's loading. Let's wait for it. Yeah, so GPT-4o GPT. Okay, it's not getting me. GPT-4o mini TTS, GPT-4o mini transcribe, and GPT-4o mini, this one. So we have to select this one, and we will confirm the deployment of this model. We can see a lot of things about its capabilities, its input format, output format. Let's confirm it. So we will deploy it in global standard, right? And we will select deploy, and then we will wait for it. And so in Azure portal, we have to go to our portal, go to our PowerShell classic version. Then we have to run these commands to clone the repository and then to activate virtual environment, install some libraries. And then in code.env, we will basically give our project endpoint and model deployment name. So here you can see I have opened it. So our model deployment name, let's see. So yeah, our model has been deployed now. So if we see in our model deployment name is also GPT-4 mini. So GPT-4 mini, right? And then the next thing is we have to go to the overview page and then see our endpoint. So this is our AI Foundry project endpoint. Let's paste this here. So we paste it here, Control S, Control Q. And the next thing is when we are done with all of this process, we have deployed the model, right? Project is created, agent playground will be open. So all of this has been done. Now the only thing left is coding, right? So let's go to code user functions.py. So let's first of all see let's what's in the folder. So we have one user functions.py and one agent.py, right? And then the rest of things is just environment variables, requirement.txt, and the virtual environment. So let's go to code user function.py. Let's see. First of all, you have to create a function, right? So this is the function that we have to create. We will just copy and paste. So this is the function, right? And as you can see, what is in this function. Let's see what is happening in this function. So we have submit sport tickets. So first of all, we are getting the email address and the description of the sport ticket, right? So what is the issue and the email address. So first of all, what we are doing, we are using this path from pathlib module of Python. And what it does it in this file, which holds the current path of this script, the script that is this Python script. So it holds the current path of this. So path basically tells about the path of this current script, and then dot parent is basically getting the directory of the script. So they have also mentioned this in comment. So we are getting the directory in the script direct, right? And this UUID, it is used to generate a unique 32-bit number, right? Not unique 32-bit string, right? So then we are using this UUID4 for generating that, and this string will look something like this, right? So there are a lot of dashes in here. So what we are doing in this, we are removing all the dashes with nothing, right? And then we are just extracting the first 6 characters. So this is to get the ticket number. So we are generating a unique ticket number, and then we are naming our file. So our file name will be ticket dash and then the ticket number. So ticket number will be the first 6 characters of this string, right? The randomly generated unique string. Then .txt, this will be our file name, right? Then we are getting the file path using our parent directory and file name. We are combining that and we are getting that in file path. Afterwards, we are just generating this text. So this text is sport ticket, and then we will be ticket number here. Then in the next line, we will be submitted by this email address. So this email address submitted this ticket, and then we will be having description, and in that also we have the description. So we are having the email address and description in the function. So this ticket number is generated by us. All the email address and description is being given by the user. So then this we will get in the text, and then write text. We will just put this text in this here, and we will just write create a text file, right? Name this. We will create that. After that, what we will do, we will just json.dump. So we will basically convert this Python dictionary into JSON string. So let's see. This is port ticket number submitted. So it's telling what ticket number is submitted and where the what is the name of the file which is saved. So this is all about JSON dumps, and then we are returning this. After this, what we are doing here, define a set of callable functions. So why are we defining this? There must be a reason, because we have the function. So why do we need to define this set of callable functions? So this is the type hint. So type hint is basically used to help static type checking. So like if you are compiling some, if you are interpreting this, right? So there might be some errors, type errors, right? So to remove those type errors, a static type checker can check these type hints to see if there is something wrong, right? And it also improves readability. So you know, like this user functions variable, what type it is. So it is of type this. So this user function variable should be a set, right? And this set should have a callable object. So callable object is basically function, right? So this set should be a list. So this set will be a set of functions, and those functions can have any number or any type of arguments. So these three dots are here for any number and any type of arguments, and any is for the return type. So it can return any type, right? So those type of functions will be there in the set, and this will be a set. So this user function variable should be a set. So this is basically defining the type, right? And this will be checked by the static type checker, right? Because this is not a language like C where it will just throw error, because if you do not have like use type correctly, so it won't throw error, because this is Python. But static type checking will help that, and it will throw error if you have a static type checker. So this is for type hint, and this is also essential for uh, our model to know like what is the type of the, what is the return type, what is the function type, what are the type of arguments, right? So all of this is very essential. And as you can see, the functions we will use, they will require this type of argument. So that is why we have to create a set of function and not just a function. So we will create a set of function. So this is the function we have. So that's why we have to define a set of callable functions. So now what we will do, we will do control X and control Q, right? And the next thing is, so first define the set of callable function, add the following code, which statically define the set of callable functions in the code file. In this case, there is only one, but in real solution, you might have multiple functions. So here we only have one function, but we can have multiple functions, right? Then what we have to do, we have to go to agent.py. So let's go to code agent.py. So this is the function of the agent.py file, right? So what we are doing, first of all, we are just extracting the environment variables, and now we need to connect to the agent client, right? So what we have to do to connect to the agent client, first of all, we have to import some libraries. So the first library will be from azure.agents.ai, right? We have to import agent client, that we always have to do. And after that, from azure.agents.ai.models, right, we have to import some things, and let's see what are those things. So we import the agents client, right? Then from models we have to import function tool, toolset, message role, and list sort order, right? So let's import those also. So function tool and tool set, list order. I think this is message message oh sorry message role, right? Message role, function tool, toolset, and list sort order, right? So list sort order. So these are the things which we have included. So message role and list sort order are just enums, and function tool and toolset are the classes, right? These tools are just enum. And what we have to do for credentials. So for credentials, we have to from core, from azure.core credentials import, right? Azure key credential. That is the thing I think we should, yeah. So we are importing not Azure key credential, we are importing default Azure credential. So that is also okay. You can use this also, but yeah, we will use that from Azure.identity import default default Azure credentials or credential. So yeah, so we have imported this, and then we are importing our function, which is our user function that we defined in the script, right? So we are importing that. We do not need that, right? So we are done with the references. Now what we have to do is, first of all, we need to connect to our client. So for that, we have agent client, right? So is it agents client or agent client? It's agents client. So that's why we have to be aware of the singular and plural agents client. First thing we have to provide is endpoint. So this will be the project endpoint, right? And the next thing that you have to provide is the key, right? So that will be like the credential. So the credential will be Azure default Azure credential, right? So default Azure credential will automatically take care of how to authenticate, right? So in default Azure credential, we are excluding these environment credential and management identity credential. So this function does not have to check for these, right? So this is our agent client, and let's put that in client. So this is our agent client. Now what we have to do with this, we are connected to the client. Now we have to define the agent that can use custom functions, right? So to define that agent, we have to do what? First of all, we have to define those custom functions, right? So let's see, define the agent that can use the custom functions. So in this, we define the functions first of all, and then we define the agent. So let's go through that. So we're using with client, right? With client as, yeah, with client only. Okay. So we are using with client, right? And the next thing what we have to do is we have to define some functions. So for that we are defining a function tool set, and then we are adding that function in the tool set, and then we are enabling auto function call. So for that, let's define this. First of all, we have to define the uh, our function. So our function is this function, user functions. So this is the function that we want to put in our function tool. So our function tool, right? This will basically have our, so in the code of, in this code we are defining this user functions, right? And we are just exporting this. So this is already a set of function calls, right? It's already a set of functions, right? So that is why, as it is already set of functions, we just need to pass this like that. So we will get our function tool. So this will be our tool, right? And then what we have to do, we have our function tool, and this will be uh, let's see here. So this will be function tool, user functions, and this will be our tool because it is returning us a. Then we will define tool set. So tool set, it will be tool set. So this is a constructor which does not require any arguments, but this requires an argument, user functions. Now we will add in our tool set this tool. So tool set dot add, right? And we have to add this tool. So we just add this tool, and the next thing is we have added this tool. Now we are doing something different. So till now it was just adding a tool. Now what we will do, we will basically enable automatic, right? Enable auto function calls. So what that means is, like, our agents don't need a permission from us whenever they are calling function. They can call the function and keep on calling that, like, until their retry is terminated, right? So for what do I mean by that? So let's see this enable auto function calls. So what it does, it enable tool calls to be executed automatically. So it is executed automatically. A user does not need to give permission that yes, you can use this function, right? It is enabled automatically, and agent can call it automatically. It does not need a human intervention. So but if the function call fails, then agent will receive error message, then it will retry again. And otherwise, if after retrying the function call it does not get the answer that it needs, right, it would try to figure out answer with some another knowledge, right? So that's why we have two inputs in this enable auto function calls. Function calls, auto function calls, we are enabling it. So we have a function, we have a parameter max retry, so it tells like how much time it can retry. So while calling a function, if this function fails, how much time it can retry. So it is maximum 10, right, by default, but we can change here also. So that is what we are doing here in enable auto function call, right? So let's see. For that we have to use our client dot enable auto function calls, and in that what we will pass our tool set. So tool set, we are passing our tool set. So this is enabling auto function calls. So now our model can automatically call that user functions. So that function of saving the file and telling what is the ticket number and who is the ticket number belongs to which user email, right? So that is done automatically by the agent now. We do not have to give the agent permission that you can use this tool. So now let's create. So for creation also we will need client dot create agent, and this we will create agent, and we will get this agent here, right? So client dot create agent. So first of all, the mandatory argument is model. So we need to give the model name. We will get it from our environment variables, that is model deployment. So that is the model deployment name, right? We have to give here. So model deployment. Then there are all other parameters are optional parameters, but we have to define it. First of all, we will define toolset, right? Toolset will be equal to our toolset, right? And the next will be name. So what name we want, we can give any name, right? Description, right? There will be a description of it also, like what this agent is doing. We can also give any description, name, toolset, and what else. So we have the name, we have the toolset. Let's see what else they have defined. So they have defined instructions. My bad, it's not descriptions, it is instructions. So we have to put here instructions, right? So instructions we have put the name, we have put the model, and we have put deployment toolset. So for the name, we just copy this support agent because we don't want to type. So support agent, and what this is doing. So this is doing what your technical support when a user has a technical issue. Okay, let's see, will it get pasted here? Okay, close it. Yeah. So you're a technical support agent. When user have a technical issue, get their email address and description of issue, and then you have to then you use those values to submit a support ticket using the function available to you. If file is saved, tell the user the file name, right? So all of this is being given in instructions. We have the name, we have the toolset, and we have the model deployment, and now we are ready with our agent, right? So our agent has been created successfully. Now the next thing is we want to create a thread. So for creating a thread, we will do thread agent dot threads, right? And then we will create a thread. And what this thread would need, right? So what parameters would it need? It would need nothing. So that is just creating a thread. The thread is like WhatsApp thread, or Discord thread. Like in chat we have a thread. In Gmail also we have a thread. So it's like a list of ongoing messages. Like you send a message, there is a reply, that kind of thing. So that is what we mean by thread, right? So you know about social media thread, so it's like that, right? So after creating thread, what we have to do now? So we have created a thread, and now what we want is we have to create a message. So for message, we have to also go to the agent, and then we have to go to messages, and then we have to create again a message. Now what things we have to pass here? First of all, we need a thread ID. We need to associate the message with the thread ID, and we will get this thread ID by thread.id, right? So I think, yeah. So agent client.messages.create thread ID, right? And then we have to pass the role and content. So uh, the message, the real message, we have not specified the real message. We have told that where this message will be, in which thread, but we also have to tell like what is the content of the message and who is sending the message, right? So first of all, we will specify role, and then we will specify the content, and this content will be our message. So I think we are taking the user input. So I think we are not using, yeah, we are taking the user input, user prompt, right? So I think user prompt will come in here. So in content, user prompt will come in here, right? And then role will be user. So there are two types of role, user and agent. So role will be user. So this is how we create the message. We can also print the name of the agent and ID of the agent. So yeah, let's print that also. So print agent dot name, right? Print agent dot name, and also print agent dot ID, agent dot ID, agent name. So by this we can get the agent name and agent ID, right? So this is how we print it, right? Let's see. Yeah. So we have to use that string, right? So yeah. So you are chatting with agent this, right? So they have basically done this. And the next thing is we have created a client message. We have created the now we have to run it, right? So for running, what we want agent dot run, and after running also it has to create and process, right? Run dot create. So we will create a run, and we will also process, right? So by process means that it will not return immediately. Only after it gets the response from the agent, only then it will return. If we use just create, then it will return a job ID kind of thing. So you have to then keep on pooling it to know when the agent is done with its work, right? When is agent done with processing? So that's why we are not using create, we are using create and process. So this will block, this is the blocking code. So it will block until the agent has processed the response. Only afterwards that only the code execution will continue. So in agent.run.create process, so what do the agent needs to run? Agent not only needs the last message, agent needs the thread, right? The whole conversation. So that's why we have to give him the thread ID, and this will be thread dot ID. And the next thing that we have to give to the agent to run is basically the we have given the thread ID, and the next thing we have to give is I think the model. So yeah, agent, we have to give the agent, right? For running we have to give the agent ID. So agent ID equals to agent dot ID. So these are the things that we have to give, right? So thread ID equal to thread dot ID, agent ID equal to agent dot ID. So this is runs, and this will give us a run, right? So let's save this in a run. So we are getting this run. So we have our run, we have our thread also, thread and message. So all that is left is now to basically, now we will do what? We will check the status of the run, whether it is failed or not. And if it is failed, then we will do something else, right? But if it's failed, then we will get the status of it, right? The last error. So we have to just copy paste it. So if we say here, run has this property of status. If it is a failed status, then we will basically run also has a property of last error. We will see what is the error, that why this run failed, right? So the run has completed, agent has its response. What we want is now to analyze the thread, right? So now this is the messages. So show the latest response from the agent. So we want the latest response from the agent. So agent has done its work. It has created a message, created a response, and it has added that to thread. After this point, that all has been done, right? After this point, all of this has been done. Agent has put up its response in the thread. So we want the last message from the thread. So what we have to do for that? So in the messages, we have to get last message text by role. So here we will specify the thread ID and also the message role. So like whose message we want. We want agent's message, and from which thread we want, from this thread. Then we will get the last message, and similarly we can also get the whole list of messages by using dot list method instead. In this we are using order. So this order is basically list order dot ascending. So it will give the messages in ascending order, right? So that is the thing, that it will give the messages in ascending order. Then in last we can also delete agent by giving the agent.id in it, right? So this will delete agent. So yeah, that is the whole lab. So let me just complete this code and then we'll try to run it. Okay, so I have changed the code a little bit, like I have completed the code and then I have tested it. So it's working. Like I'm asking like I have a problem with the mouse, then it's asking could you provide me with the email address and detailed description. Then I provided it with my email and the description, and then it has said that I have submitted a support ticket for you. The ticket file is saved in this ticket f5 this. If you need any further assistance, feel free to ask, right? But right now I will be quitting it. So this is the conversation log that is printed. So email is this, issue is this. I move mouse to the pointer does not move, right? I have submitted a support ticket for you. The ticket file is saved in this. So this is the conversation log that we printed. So this is the message from the user and this is the message from the agent. So this is the about the last message that we are printing, right? So now let's see also if there is any file ticket something. So code ticket, yeah, there is a file, and if you can see there is a support ticket ID submitted by this email. Description, mouse is not working at all. I have moved the mouse but pointer does not move, right? So this is the description. Also about the code. So if I talk about the code, I have made some changes in the code. So there were some typos in my code. So I have changed these. Like there was Azure AI.agents, not Azure agents.ai, right? So Azure AI.agents. Then there were some more in default Azure credential. There was some E missing. So there were some typos. I have changed the typos. And another thing that I wanted to uh, point out is that here in the client, so when we are calling the threads, right? First of all of these should be plural. So like the threads should be plural, right? Messages should be plural, and also the runs is also with an S, right? So all of this are like that, and it should be client. It is not the agent. So when we created our client.create agent, right? Then we got this agent object. So we are not using that agent object here. We are using the client.threads. So that is the client object, not the agent's object, right? So agent is just we are just using it for agent.name and agent.id. So besides that, we are not using it. We are just using it for here agent.id in run, right? But everywhere else we are using client.thread, client.this, right? And then also here it was runs, and besides that, the code below this. I have pasted this above here. So this code is basically asking the user any prompt, and it is going in infinite loop until the user presses quit, right? So why I paste this above? Because we needed the user prompt. So user prompt we are sending here. So that is why this code should be above this, and it should be run in the while loop. So that is why the user prompt is here. So I didn't see that this they have mentioned this here. So I just completed the code above with this, right? So now let's go on to some main points. So related to this messages. So we see here we have client messages, right? And then we have get last message text by role. So what do we mean by this? So we understand get means we are getting something, right? And the last message is that we are getting the last message, but then there is text. So text means we are only getting text messages. So there could be other messages like agent could have responded with the attachment file, right? So those kind of things, or in image, right? So those kind of things are not included in this because this is text. Get last message text by role. By role means this role, like what is the role of the agent? So the last message of the agent, right? So this is what I want you to observe it, right? And in the last message also, so the last message itself is not the text, right? We have to extract the text from it. So for that we have to do last message dot text dot value, right? Because in dot text there is not only just the value of the text, right? It also contains annotations. So in that case we could use last message dot text dot annotations, right? So that is why we have to do this last message dot text dot value, and it's not inside this last message, right? Then in the conversation log, we are providing the thread ID and the order, in which order we want the conversation history, right? So in here we are getting messages, which is a list of messages. So these messages are not text messages, right? Like this one. So these are like all the messages. It could be attachments also. So in the messages we are looping messages, and this text messages, when we put this text messages, it basically comes down to this only. So whatever this was returned last message, text message is basically this only. So in this text messages we are getting the last of the message, right? And then we are getting again the text dot value. So like this, the same last message dot text dot value, we are getting the same thing here, but we are getting that from the list. So To completely understand this, I have created the documentation also. So as you can see, when we call get class message text by role, right, we pass the thread id and we pass the role. Okay, so we get the last text message, but what it returns is actually is a message text content class object, right? So object of this class it returns, and this class has a property called text, and this text property is of type message text details, and this message text details has further two properties called value and annotations, right? Then this value is actually actual text that the actual text that was returned by the agent, right? Or actual text of the user if we have a user here, but like we always go for the agent, right? So the actual text, actual data string, right, actual text string that is contained in the value, and in annotations it is again an annotation object. So it is an abstract, it is of type message text annotation, which is an abstract class. So annotations can be also of different objects. So we can have annotations of message text file path annotation, we can have message text url site annotation, right? So url site annotation means that the agent has extracted the content from the url, so the citation will be of that url, that I have extracted this content from this url. So that citation is in this message text url citation. If it is from a file, then it will be text file site annotation, right? So if it is from a file which is like generated by a agent, then it is will be text file citation. If it is a file that it has access to, it would be like text file path annotation, right? Then these are also like different types of text annotation. So annotations is of type that, right? Annotations is of type message text annotation, which is an abstract class. And in this abstract class we have text. Text property is basically telling us the textual content which is associated with the annotated item. So the annotated item, like there might be some text which is taken from a url, so only that part of text will be in this text property, not the whole response, right? So that is a part of text which is in there, in here, right? So this is all about the annotation. So let's take an example. So if we do my text.text.value, then that would be the actual response text, right? If we do my text.text.annotations.text, then that will be the associated text. So it's different. So here we text.value will give the actual response text, whereas annotations.text will give the text that is associated with the annotation. And here text.annotation.file citation.file id, this will give the file associated with the annotation, and then this will give the url associated with the annotation. So here we are basically selecting the specific file citation, and here we are selecting specific url citation from the annotations, and then we are going to subparts of it, file id and url. So this is just for the information that why this is like a complex structure, right? And in case of uh, list, right, so here we can see this is for the get class message text by role, and this last message text only returns text, it does not return any attachments or anything like that, right? It does not return file. It gives the annotation, but it does not return the file at all, right? Now in case of list, we are just passing the thread id, we are not passing the role here because we are getting the list of the conversation in the whole thread, and this returns the thread message class. So it is different. So in this the messages are not like just pure text messages. So the list is has all kind of messages. So it could be attachments, like dot attachments, we can get the files attached in the message. Dot agent id could give like which agent actually created that message. Dot content basically gives the content items associated with agent thread messages, right? And dot text message is the one that we have used. So in dot text messages, it is a class message text content class, which is the same class which we have talked about here, uh, message text content class. So yeah, we have talked it around here. Yeah, this is the class. So this is the same class that is returned by this object. So for the same class, it is like dot text messages, right? So that's why when we do dot text messages and then we do dot text dot value to get the actual text, just like this one, just like text dot value here, we are getting the text from text dot value, and text message is basically the list of text messages that we are getting. So that is the actual text. So this is all about the things here. And if this is a quick Python intro also, so like in Python we are using type hints. So those type hints are very essential for the language model to understand what the function is, what are its parameters. So we need to mention the type hints, and we also need to mention the doc string. So that is very essential, right? And here is the documentation for OpenAI 3.0, which is also something you should look into because it is mentioned in the learning path. And besides that, yeah, this is the toolset class. So toolset class has a method add, so by which you can just add tools. So that tool should be of tool class, right? So all of these here also you can look at. So tool class is an abstract class which has a method execute, right? And the execute method is basically you provide a tool call into it, like tool call is the actual call to the tool, right? You provide that to the execute method, and execute method returns you the output of the tool call. So that is abstract method of tool class. And abstract variables of tool class are definitions and resources. So definition is basically definition of the tool, and resources is basically the resources that will be used by the tool. So that is the tool class, which is an abstract class. Function tool class is the implementation of this abstract class. So it also implements the tool class. It takes a this kind of set of functions. So this is set of functions. It takes a set of function as an argument, and then we can basically construct the object of function tool class. And this returns a tool of function tool, right? And this could be a set of different function objects. So that is in our input. So like if we have two functions named get rainfall and get humidity, then the function set will be like a set of get rainfall and get humidity. And then it has a method add functions. So add functions method basically add a function in your tool class. So it is very identical to what we pass to function tool constructor, right? So it is the same thing. It is just a set of functions, set of functions, right? So dot add functions also takes the same input as the constructor, and it returns nothing, right? Tool set class is basically we are adding the tool itself. So the tool that we created here, we are adding that in the tool set, right? So that is used in the add method. And then the difference between tool resource and tool set. So tools are basically the definitions of the tool, like what is the tool capable of, a list of tool definitions that specify capabilities. So this is checked by the agent so that it knows what is available, right? So what is the capability of tool. Then tool resources are the resources that are required by these tools. So some of the tools would require resources like a file ID or a vector ID. Then those are specified here. And tool set is basically collection of tools and their associated resources. So here we specify the tools and those tools are associated with the resources. So here we do not have to specify it separately, tools and tool resources. If we have tool set, we can just specify here in tool set. So here they have also mentioned this is a convenient alternative to manually specifying tools and tool resources separately. Then enable auto function call. It's basically enables the tool calls to be executed automatically during runs. And these are the inputs. We have to specify the tools, right? And we also have to specify the maximum retry. It returns nothing, but observe here the tools that you provide in enable auto function class calls, that tool should be the subset of tools you specified while creation. So yes, this is all the documentation, and we have also run this, so it's working, right? Also, you have to do AZ login. If you haven't done AZ login, that it might throw an error that you are not authorized. So that's why you have to do AZ login. And let's try one more time, right? Agents.py. Let's uh, let's enter our prompt. Suppose we have an issue with our camera. So we have issue with the camera. Uh, its shutter is not closing. Its shutter is not closing, right? So then it will ask us our email address and detail of the issue, right? Okay, could you provide a email address so I can submit a support ticket regarding the camera issue? Okay, so here it does not ask for the detail because it assumes that this is the detail. So I will just pass my email address. So let's say qser@consto.com. Conto. So okay. So yeah, I just provided my email address. Please provide a description of technical issue you are experiencing so I can submit a support ticket for you. Okay, so it's asking for description also. So camera is not working because shutter is stuck. So this is the description of the issue. Please provide email address and I will submit a support ticket for the issue with your camera. Okay, so it's asking me email address again. So okay, let's say at the rate or gmail.com, right? So let's see. Could you provide the description? Okay, so it's asking for description again. Okay, so the camera is not working. Not working. What should I do? The camera is stuck and shutter. The camera's shutter is stuck. Shutter is stuck, right? So I think I'm not providing description and email in the same prompt. That's why it's not uh, letting me do something. So I will provide the email also. So .com, right? And description. And my camera is not working because of shutter problem. So now let's see. Can I detect like my issue and my email? I have submitted a support ticket for you. The ticket file is saved in this. Okay, so after this long conversation, I don't know why this was so long, but let's see what it has put in the text file. So quit. This is the conversation log, the last thing which was this. So let's see the text file ticket, right? So yeah, so it is the Gmail and the last message. It has just saved the last message in the text file. Camera not working due to shutter problem. So yeah,